name is Alyssa.
And I'm Emily.
And you're listening to Slash and Slay, a horror podcast.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to a new episode. So sorry we've been absent.
Just for 2 weeks. Not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. We just, what was it? 4th of July. We took
4th of July,
the day
we
off.
took off. And then last week, there was like, it's going to be tornadoes or something.
It was a hurricane in the southern area. South of Texas.
Area.
In Houston area. There's some people still don't have power, don't have service. My poor friend,
It's crazy.
she was in Tennessee, thankfully, during everything, but
Yeah.
her cats were there, and their automatic feeder is run on electricity.
Oh, no.
So they were very hungry. Yeah.
Poor babies.
But she's back now. She got service 2 days ago, I think, or power. But yeah, it was really awful. It did not get as bad here as I thought it would, but they did see like some tornado sightings. So we were like, after our incident, we weren't going to risk it.
Right. That one day was too scary.
Yeah. So we did not do it, but we're here now. And we're excited.
We're very excited.
We're
We
pumped.
are talking about MaxXxine, which we saw. We're going to give our honest
honest thoughts,
and
feelings,
reviews and
slashes or
loves and-
slays.
Yes. Speaking of,
We need to do those.
do you have any?
Yes.
What do you have any?
Yes. I think didn't talk about it yet, so I'll just talk about Black Sheep.
Oh, yes.
Because we posted about it. And you can now see our Slash and Slays on Instagram, just so you can keep up and look at them. And, that way if you want to reference one, you don't have to go through and, you should listen to it again if you want, but you don't have to go through and scrub and find which episode we're talking about a certain book or movie. But I did read Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. Harrison?
Yes.
Harrison. Okay. Every single time I say it,
Rachel Harrison.
Harrison, yeah. So now I've almost read all of hers, I think. I still have The Return. I don't think I'm going to read the short stories.
They're good, though.
Okay. You know me in short stories, I am not a huge fan.
I'm not either, actually. Surprisingly, I'm not. But I read hers because I just like how she writes and like stuff. So
okay, then I'll give it a chance.
I think you should.
Okay. I'm just so excited for her next one, though.
So
Vampire.
Thirsty. Very excited.
Anyway, Black Sheep is about a young 20-something-year-old who returns to her family's farm. She grew up in a very religious, almost cult-like family, and she renounced that religion, and she has since run away, and she receives an invitation to her cousin and her first love's wedding. And so she has to go back. She doesn't have to. She wants to go back.
Right.
Because, no matter what, they're still your family.
Yes.
And she wants to hopefully find out more about her father. She's curious to see if her mother's changed. She doesn't really get along with her. Mm-hmm. And then it takes place over the course of like a weekend or so. Yeah.
And The first part, yeah.
First part, about a weekend. And she experiences some things that, some relived childhood trauma.
Her mom's also like a classic horror actress.
She's like a scream queen.
Like, I kind of see her as like Elvira in my head.
Oh, really? I saw her as Reagan's mom from The Exorcist.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, Elvira makes more sense, though,
different.
probably. Yeah. I just thought of a very, like, proper,
classic.
but yeah. Which Elvira is, too. But anyway, I really enjoyed this one. I do love how every single one of her main characters is so different but still relatable. Like, I was actually explaining her the other day, I think it was yesterday, to somebody, and I kind of described her as like horror Emily Henry, because there's always like a little bit of romance, a little bit of like coming of age, more like literary fiction, feminist, female main characters. And they're also different, that every single type of woman can also relate to some aspect of every one of her characters. And this one, Vesper, was probably most, or least like me in most ways. I have my cynical nature too, but she's very cynical. So I think she was least like me, but I was still able to like relate to her and the struggles with like, you know, you don't choose your family. Yeah. And we were always told no matter what, like you need to still love your family. And it's like, you actually don't. Like, yeah. No,
toxic,
even,
horrible, abusive.
Yeah. Then you actually don't need to do that. But the ending, I won't spoil it. I still haven't really decided if I liked it or not, or if I wanted it to be different, if I wanted to go the other route.
Yeah.
Instead of a more fantastical route.
If you wanted it to be.
If I wanted it to be.
Completely realistic.
Yes. So I haven't decided if I like that or not yet.
I
think there's pros and cons to both.
Right.
But I think, you know, obviously.
I think her, as a writer, and like what we've seen
it
before, it makes sense that it went more fantastical.
Yes. She still has to entertain, and it's still a horror novel, and everything up to this point has been fantastical, which I expected. But I don't know. It would have just been interesting. I think if she was really trying to drive home the whole aspect of family ties and what you'll do to, like, not lose yourself in that and what you'll sacrifice to continue a relationship, whether you need to or not, you know, then maybe more rooted in reality would have been the way to go. But it was still fun, you know. I actually went to a bachelorette party this past weekend, and I brought the book with me, and it was like we got back from the bars at like 2 a.m. or something, and like everybody finally went to sleep, and I I didn't drink or anything, so I was kind of like, you know, laying in bed, just taking my time, going to bed or whatever. And then I was like, I'm gonna finish this, so I stayed up like really late finishing it, but because it was just like, so I had to know what happened. So I definitely slay it though. I've slayed all her books so far.
Yes, love them.
I still think Cackle might be my favorite because I love witches.
Yeah, I think I'm between that and Such Sharp Teeth. Because Cackle was just like, to me, it was really not what I thought. I don't know. It was just very unexpected.
Yeah, me too.
And like, I remember, like, I read it like in a cabin. And so like, just the feeling that I get when I think about it.
Yeah.
But Such Sharp Teeth to me is more up my alley with like the, I don't know, the werewolf and
the main characters like you.
Yeah.
Like, y'all have the same aesthetic and comedic, quippy personality. And like, you know, you and your sister are like, y'all almost look like twins, but you're also very different.
Right.
So it's almost like that too.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
And I would get bitten by a werewolf.
You sure would. Don't we know that?
Don't we all know it?
We did play F, Marry, Kill at the bachelorette party.
Yeah.
And they asked werewolf, vampire, alien. And I said marry werewolf, surprisingly.
Yeah. Because
I'm thinking about the long run.
You would F a vampire and kill an alien.
Yeah, okay, obviously, duh. Hello. Because, you know, I think about the warmth. I don't have to pay for heating. I can live anywhere. True. Really. They
can bring. Well, you don't eat meat. I was gonna say they could bring you dinner.
You know what? I would for them.
Yeah,
sure.
Could change.
If it was like, you know, not processed, weird. You know, if they were hunting
it's like straight up.
That's more like.
It's more humane.
More humane to me. That is the circle of life.
True.
Anyway, I slay it. I don't think I went through a little bit of romance phase, so I hadn't read any more.
Yeah.
Horror, but
nice.
What about you? You rewatched something.
Huh?
You rewatched something.
I rewatched something.
You and your dad.
Oh yeah, I rewatched Super 8 again, and it was on my mind after that episode. And
you still
my dad, you know, likes it and stuff, and so I do still slay it. I still cried at the end, like just tears in my eyes. And then there's this part where when the alien's going up in the ship, it like dropped because it made the ship in the water tower. So all the water's coming out of the water tower, and I was sitting there crying because at the moment that's just, oh my god, with the music, it's just so beautiful. And that happens, it raises up, and my mom goes, looks like it's peeing. I just started cracking up because I was like,
Mom,
just ruin the moment. But She's
That's
like,
so
it
funny.
looks like it's peeing. Like, she just has this way that she says jokes. Like, it looks like it's peeing. Like, she starts laughing.
And you're like, girl, we
At
didn't
her
invite you.
own
Get out of
joke.
here.
So, yeah, so still Slay. I also saw Quiet Place Day 1.
Yes.
And I slay.
I heard that I can watch it.
You can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can watch it. There was like, you know, you're always wondering, you're kind of like, something gonna happen? Something gonna happen to it? But nothing happens to the cat.
Thank you.
Spoiler alerts. There's just no way that anything would happen to that cat.
I saw a lot of people asking on
yeah,
like Twitter or whatever whenever it
Mhm.
came out, and they're like, please tell me the cat's fine. Like, I
Yeah.
can't go see it unless I know the cat's gonna live. So
the cat plays an integral part, so it's like
okay.
it couldn't die. It was a lot more of a emotional story, I would say.
They all have been very emotional.
They all have. You're right. They all have. But this was like, it was different in a sense. Like,
It really wasn't marketed that way to
Right.
me.
right. It's like the main character, Lupita, she plays a woman who has cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets... Also, guess who's in it?
Who?
Hold on.
It'll come to you.
Who? It's not Alex. Alex Wolf. Our friend Alex. And the whole time...
Always shows up.
The whole
You were
time,
thinking that
I
it
was-
was...
Nat.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, this one, I know this one's Nat.
No.
I know it's Nat. And
It was
then at the
Alex.
end I was like, okay, it was Alex.
Was he like an actual, like an integral main character role?
Yeah, I mean,
Ish.
ish. He played a good part.
Okay.
So, and then, of course, Eddie from Stranger Things was in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Chrissy Wake Up guy.
Right. Okay.
I only haven't
Never
seen
saw
Stranger
that,
Things.
no.
But you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Yeah, he was in it as a main character, too. And it was just very, I mean, it was good. It wasn't really scary. Because I think because you know what to expect.
Because you've
from
seen these monsters.
creatures, because you've seen them. And you just, you just know what to expect. So it wasn't scary in that way, but it was like entertaining, exciting. And then there was like the emotional aspect of it. So
My fear is, like, I don't really, like, I want to watch it, but my
Mhm.
fear is that it's just going to, like, take away from, like, what the first
The
and
other
second
ones?
one really meant to me, I feel like, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what, does it serve a purpose in the franchise? Is it going to...
It does connect.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it does connect.
Okay.
There's a character that's in the second one
Mm-hmm.
that's also in this one.
Okay.
So it does connect in that way. I don't know. I didn't feel like it took away from...
Do you feel like it was, like, I don't know, necessary? Or...
It was more informational about how this kind of spread it through the city.
Okay.
Because, we're... And the other ones were in these, like, small towns. These, like, rural areas. And this is, like, the city. There's this thing at the beginning.
It has been a long time.
Yeah, in that one, yeah. And this is, like,
Right
the
when it
moment
happens.
it started.
Okay.
And, like,
And in
what
New
it looked
York.
like in New York and, like, how it affected everyone. And it talks about how...
It's giving Cloverfield.
Yes. It talks about how there's... In New York, it's like, what, 90 decibels or something? And it's like a constant scream. Like, the noise in New York is like
Right.
that. And
So, of course, they were going to go there.
Of course. I mean, they're going to be attracted there. So...
Wow. Interesting.
So I slay Quiet Place Day 1.
Okay.
I also watched a movie just this morning. I didn't fully watch it. Like, it was a Tubi movie. Okay.
Okay.
It was called Clickbait Unfollowed.
I saw that on Tubi.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I saw it.
It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. It was like all the acting was a bit of a stretch. The reasoning, the plot was a stretch. And they had like really overly violent deaths for like no reason. And they
Mhm.
also didn't look realistic.
Love that.
So, slash.
It's a slash. Click
It's a
unfollow.
slashy.
What it's called?
Clickbait Unfollow.
Clickbait unfollow. Okay. Slash.
Slash. And I'm trying to think. I listened to 2 audiobooks. Look at me getting into audiobooks. My profession. One was called The Golden Couple.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that by
Greer Hendricks.
Okay.
And someone else.
Okay.
2 people. It's like my 2 people. It was good. It was just kind of like a thriller.
Mm-hmm. I'm in a thriller mood too.
Mystery, kind of like what's going on sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read listened to a romance. It was very raunchy.
Oh.
And there we go.
You slay that one.
Slay it.
Slay. It is sad. A sad week.
It is.
Because Shelley Duvall passed away.
Yes.
Beautiful scream queen.
Mm-hmm.
Had a very hard life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been meaning to watch one of her movies. I want to watch her TV show.
Yeah.
If I can find it. But I was so sad.
Horror icon.
I know. But I want to just slay her life.
Yes.
I slay her. I slay her.
Slay her all day her.
Yes. I need to watch her newest movie. I didn't know it had come out. It was a horror too.
It was like
Came
recent,
out in
right?
2023.
Yeah.
Like last year. Yeah. I didn't even realize it had come out already. Need to watch that. Maybe we can do a video on that one.
Yeah,
or
that'd be
a
good.
podcast.
We could just do a podcast about her life.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That would be good. Our last /slay, we won't say it till the end. We have to talk about MaxXxine now.
Oh yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
whole point of this episode.
MaxXxine.
A MaxXxine, yeah.
MaxXxine. MaxXxine, if you don't know, is a movie that came out on July 5th, directed by Ty West, and produced by Mia Goth, also Ty West, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Starring Mia Goth. It is the sequel to X,
And
which
the third installment.
the third installment of the X series, I guess is what they're calling it. So X came out first, and then Pearl, which was a prequel, and now we have MaxXxine, which is the sequel. MaxXxine follows MaxXxine, who is a porn star that we met in X, and she has survived all of this brutal murdering of Pearl. She ends up killing the old lady Pearl, and now she's in Hollywood, and she wants to be an actress.
So she's
much like
Pearl.
Yes.
So she's on that grind. She's
going to
physically,
Hollywood.
literally, and
she's grinding. Yeah. Overall, do you want to do overall thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Overall thoughts for me were I really enjoyed a lot of the parallels. I thought it was really interesting to see like Pearl had a thing with the video guy, the film, what's it called? Projectionist.
Yeah.
And then MaxXxine had not really a relationship, but some sort of like mutual love for somebody who owned a video store. So I was like, okay, there's some parallels there. They both wanted to be really famous at any cost. They both their parents caught on fire. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
This is definitely spoilers.
Spoiler.
What else?
They both had like the accent.
They both had accents. Yes, from Texas.
From Chimeria.
Yes. They're both plagued by religion, by their parents and religious upbringings. And they're both kind of just absolutely ruthless.
Yeah.
My other thoughts were, I just don't like I think Stranger Things kind of started this when they're like, we're going to make something so 80s. Like, it's going to be 80s. And you're like, it did not, like, I've seen my mother's clothes from the 80s. Like, it's not
they were not that, like, fashionable.
No.
Looking.
And, like, I don't know. It just was kind of ridiculous. Like, she still looked hot. And, like, she looks like she's, like, oh, she just stepped out of H&M, like, down here. Yeah. She didn't look, like, time period appropriate, in my opinion. And it was also, a lot was going on. A lot of loose ends, in my opinion, as well. And I still have a lot of questions. I did guess the ending very early on.
Right.
And
well, it's very predictable in my opinion. They've set it up right from the beginning. Like,
yeah.
You know,
literally right from the beginning.
Literally the first thing you see.
Yeah. Which, like, that makes you wonder, are they trying to hide it, or were they just like thought they were really sneaky about it?
I don't think so. I feel like they can't. They can't make Pearl and then do this and think they're being sneaky.
No.
In my opinion, but it just.
They kind of treated us like we were stupid, too, a few times. Like, the flashbacks were scenes that happened literally minutes ago.
Oh, yes.
And then also being
But they do that in 80s movies. So I don't know if that was
But then why not do it for all, like...
Right.
There's nothing else 80s movies.
True.
And...
I did like, there's a scene where she's running through all the...
Oh yeah, the sets. That was fun. And there was Back to the Future.
Back to the Future set. They run down the clock tower. Psycho.
That was really cool, and I liked that. Like parallels to Bates Motel, Patrick Bateman, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the start of horror in Hollywood, kind of.
Right.
They talked about the Night Stalker a lot.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
A lot.
There were these two detectives
that were so dumb.
Who were so dumb. Like, I don't know what they were. Why?
They don't look 80s at all either.
They don't look 80s at all. A woman, like, dressed like.
She had a blowout.
No. She literally
had a blowout.
Yes, and her pantsuit was like something
literally
that would
Talbots.
literally be worn now. And like, there were women detectives.
Yeah.
Of course. But I don't feel like they would have had that much leeway. I don't know. There's
my problem with the historical accuracy is, like, especially if you know anything about the Night Stalker, and like, yes, it was like a terrifying thing in America and especially in California, and inspired a lot of copycats and whatever. But like, when he first started and he was like killing sex workers and the like lower class people, they literally like did not care to the extent that they were appearing to care in the movie. In the movie, they're like, "This is we have to catch this guy." It's
and
all
they come
on
to
you.
her to MaxXxine, and they're like, "Don't you want to help, like, with your friends?" Her friends who were strippers and prostitutes, and like, they would not have wasted anything like on like.
No, not those resources. On sex workers and things like that.
And then it was like the male detective was like trying to be like it was like trying to be comedy relief, but he wasn't.
The worst comedy relief. They were not funny at all. I also just found it very strange that she was like, "Oh, you can help save these women."
Right.
And she says, maybe they should have saved themselves.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I saved myself. And you're like, okay, yeah, cool. So we never were scared for MaxXxine because she was always able to protect herself. Literally, like, she gets, there's a stick up at the beginning. Yeah. And she just, like, completely crushes his nuts.
And you see
disgusting. Yeah. And so we're, like, never worried about MaxXxine. And then at the end, when she is in, like, quote unquote danger, it was so easy for her to get out. And so it makes me feel like the movie is saying, like, why didn't the other girls just
fight harder?
Yeah, why didn't they just fight harder? Why weren't
they smarter? Why weren't this or that?
Like, MaxXxine got out, and it's not that they're saying that, but it made it look like that.
Yes, because and the whole thing was like they were saying, "Oh, it's the Night Stalker doing this." Like, that's what they wanted you to believe, but it wasn't, of course, and so it was making like the deaths from the Night Stalker's victims like seem like it should have been. I don't know.
It was just kind of insensitive, in my
so
opinion, to use something that's actually real, and also wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
it's true. Like, people are still alive that
experienced
families passed away. Like, that there's people still alive that chased him down and got him, you know, in the neighborhood, whatever. And so I don't know. It just seemed a little insensitive to the victims, instead of like portraying it how it actually was, like where they did not care if sex workers lived or died.
Yeah.
And instead they're like showing that these white savior like cops
Right.
came and saved Mia Goth, and
Right.
they sacrificed themselves for Mia Goth and MaxXxine, blah blah blah. And then also trying to bring in the aspects of religious cults in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which was so...
It's so overdone. I'm like,
And it wasn't done well either. Like, they were
Right.
so
It's like,
one-dimensional.
yes, exactly.
I didn't know what he wanted besides
Right.
to expose Hollywood for stealing your child.
Yeah.
But then all those other people were just... They had no speaking part. It was just him.
They were just standing there to be in these, like, white robes to be like...
And then they had
part
machine
of the
guns
cult.
underneath or whatever. Like...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like, I was like, it's so overplayed, the like religious cult leader villain.
Yeah.
Like and I know it's real. No, of
it's
course.
interesting to me.
But it's like, oh my gosh. Yes, I get it. Like,
yeah.
I get it. Like,
just do it different because like
yeah.
do it. I don't know. Like I did like how they did it in Mandy for the most part. I mean, then again, that was very stereotypical still too, but it was more like malicious.
It was it was their purpose or like their ideology wasn't just like, I don't know.
This just seems like, I mean, it probably was.
It felt cheap to me.
It felt like a group of Texans thought, let's take it upon ourselves and go take down Hollywood.
Right.
Which, like, okay, where did they get the resources to this mansion, number one?
Right.
Like,
they never see that as it's a mansion under the Hollywood sign. That would have been freaking like
so expensive.
So expensive even then.
And why were they going after these other women just to get to MaxXxine?
Right.
And then this PI character,
Kevin Bacon,
had no
he was just
purpose,
like
not one purpose.
No, like
not a single purpose. Like, if you took that character out and only left what he left for MaxXxine, like the letter and the tape, if you left that in the movie, then she would still figure it out.
Right. He had to like come in to talk all like from New Orleans, like,
and then just have a gnarly death scene.
To have a gnarly death. And the only good part of the movie, not the only good part, there were some, but like, was the line when the movie director said, whatever's going on
in your personal life,
you need to squash it.
And then she goes, I intend
to. And then she literally squashes him with a car squasher.
It probably, like, it is a gnarly death, but it's probably so cheap. That was probably one of the cheapest deaths you could probably do.
You didn't see it at all.
Yeah, no. You just literally gushed out of a car.
And I also liked Giancarlo
yes.
Giancarlo
Esposito. What's his name? You know who we're talking about.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, that's it.
Oh my gosh. He played her agent, and I really liked
But they're like...
him. But
he said, we'll take care of this. And then that was it. We never heard from him again.
Yeah.
And why? I was so confused with their relationship because I was like, how much is she paying him to do this shit?
And she can't afford that.
No.
Like, how much is he making off her? Not
enough
that
to kill somebody.
And like, cover up the fact that she killed all these people. Well, cover up the fact that she was involved with the Texas like shootout thing or whatever.
And again, like, their relationship didn't seem like a father figure to a daughter. Like, he was like, he just seemed like a sleazy Hollywood agent, which that's what he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But then why is he in charge of all? Like, I don't understand. I just did not understand their dynamic. I did not understand.
I liked him, like, the actor, the character he portrayed, but I didn't understand
they didn't use him to his full potential.
Intensity of the relationship there. And then, of course, the death of the video.
Why?
Why? I think it was
just racially motivated, racially and
homosexually.
And
like, what was like? What? I just don't get. Like, there was like I guess, because, like, remember there was a part where someone came into the video store and he was like, I'm not in that business anymore. Was he talking about? And then he's like, and then the guy just like, he walked the guy out, and then closed the door, and then he got killed. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that supposed to be? Like, he's not. Maybe it was like he used to be a prostitute, like a male prostitute or something.
I have no idea. Your guess is good as
mine. And then they killed him, so I was like.
And then she acted like that was the saddest thing that's ever happened in her life. And I was like, you literally, like, did not care about him. Like, barely cared about him.
And it didn't make sense. Like, why did he have to die?
It made no sense.
There was no, like, he was friends because he was friends with her.
Like, all those people did not have to. They were just dying because, like, oh, they're friends
they're
with
like connected to MaxXxine.
But like, if you only wanted MaxXxine. And also those other girls weren't, like, aspiring actors or whatever. Right. Like, they were just wanting a rich man. Like, they weren't being stolen by Hollywood like he thought. So that didn't even, like, help his cause at all.
Yeah, true. I will say, Mia Goth looked gorgeous.
She's so hot, beautiful,
and
she's amazing. Good. Yeah, her acting's great.
Yeah,
it always is. I still think. I don't know. I also liked the, or she goes to that first casting call, and the parallels of, like, Pearl, and she's like, she was like, I nailed it. Like, y'all can go home. Yeah. I was so good at it. Blah blah blah, and. I don't know. It's just.
And now she's like, says like, I'm a star. Like, she literally. Yeah,
she kept saying, I'm a star.
I'm a Hollywood movie star.
Because she's gonna be in this horror film.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. And Lily Collins is in it too. So weird, random, so random.
Some of the casting, it was random. Just like, I mean, even the two police officers. What? I didn't mean to flip you off.
Thank you. Dead.
Michelle Monaghan, I think that's her name.
Yeah.
And the guy, I don't remember his name, but he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Javier or something, I think. Anyways, like, what?
I think also they were trying to. I think he was trying to say.
Oh, and Halsey.
Oh yeah. Like, what? Why?
Halsey was her friend.
Yeah. I feel like Ty West was trying to say so much, and in the other ones, he was just trying to like because he's a great artist and like great at filmmaking, and I think he was trying to bring great filmmaking into the B movie scene, and I think he accomplished that so well. Like with Pearl, are you kidding me? One of the most beautiful movies, and also terrifying and wonderful acting, amazing. Then this one, he's trying to say so much about Hollywood in the 80s. He's trying to talk about sex work. He's trying to talk about slasher films and getting a bad rap. He's trying to talk about, you know, an artsy, porn and the Night Stalker and cult religion.
Right.
And
demonic
wealth.
Possession. Like,
he's trying to say
satanic panic. Like, it
everything. And it all got lost. It all was like half-assed. Everything.
Just jumble.
Yeah. And especially like one of the criticisms of this film was that they were saying he needs to move on from this genre and try to do something else, because like there's only so much you can do with the limitations in the slasher film. And then in the movie, that director who takes this so seriously, and she's, you know, like trying to make this art movie, but it's like a sequel to some like Pilgrim Possession, you know, like it's not anything that's going to be amazing, you know. Big. So she is like, this, you know, is a slasher and we have to prove ourselves, and I can make something beautiful and I want it to look a certain way, you know, and she has all of these opinions, and I'm like, okay, so is Ty West being like, you know, we can still make artsy movies and it be a slasher? And if that's the case, then you kind of failed on this one. You've done two great ones.
Right.
Failed on this one. Also, she kept having random trauma, but then also didn't care.
Yeah.
From X.
Right. She would like...
have flashbacks.
Flashback. I will say the scene where they did the live mask on her head.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like suffocating. Like she was like panicking.
Yeah.
That was bad, because I was like, I can imagine.
Your claustrophobia.
I'm claustrophobic. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. I just read a book where that exact thing happened. It was in Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. And I was like, oh, well, I would never do that. For 10 minutes? Are you kidding me?
10 minutes? I could not.
Also, that was not like proper like set etiquette or
right.
like for her
to be
to
like,
leave.
leave.
No.
To be like, oh, I'll be right back. Just sit here. Try to
No.
breathe when you literally can't.
No. Yeah, that was not right.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I just have a lot of bad things to say about it, but
I know. I was excited for it, and I wanted to like it, and I was entertained for the first third maybe, and then I was kind of like, oh no. Oh, and then the shot of the. So she has the gun on her father.
Oh, right.
Up at the Hollywood sign, and there's the police are like saying, "MaxXxine, put your weapon down," and then she just shoots the father. Like, it doesn't make sense that she wouldn't also have gotten shot for that.
Because they literally said, "This is your last warning."
Right. And then she's like, I'm
like,
just gonna go and shoot. And then there was this like, and maybe it's like I can see where someone could be like, maybe that's the point, was this scene of him getting his head blown off was like the most expensive scene in the movie, and it was over dramatic, it was way overdone. Maybe that's the point in a way,
but nothing else was.
So it's like, I feel like anything he was trying to say got lost in the stuff that
again, like you were saying, like maybe it was 80s movies,
right,
but like nothing else was, like just that in the flashbacks, like okay. But again, like what he was, the main motivation of the villain was one of my huge issues, because at the end when she's about to shoot him, he's saying like, I'm doing this for, like, I did this for you so you could be famous.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, is he sacrificing himself so she can be famous,
right,
infamous forever, you know, like for doing this, or for like whatever? And she has like this flashback or flash forward
where she's like a
daydream
star.
where she's a star, and like everybody's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna make a movie out of
it wasn't completely clear that it was actually a flash forward like dream sequence of hers.
I had no idea,
because like she was like in an interview. Was that real? Was the interview
at the very end?
Yeah,
I think that was real.
And then, but then she was famous, and then it flashed back to her.
Yeah.
And then she was she also did a lot of coke, like nonstop.
Oh yeah, she did, like a lot.
I just also feel like the 80s movie trope is overdone as well at this point. And I understand they did X, it was in the 70s, so it makes sense that this, like, some time has passed, so it would have to be, it was in the late 70s, right, I think. So it makes sense, but I'm just like,
if you're going to do it, just make it an 80s, like, don't.
80s. I'm kind of tired of the 80s thing.
It's the 80s aesthetic that they think is real that actually was not.
Right.
Like, have you seen like an Pinterest 80s horror movie? Yeah.
It's Pinterest 80s.
Like, if you think about a real 80s horror movie, what's one that was in the 80s? Like,
I can't think of a single.
Yeah, I can't think of a single
one. The thing? The 80s thing?
Yeah. Well, they just wore parkas, but let me look up. I'm going to look it up.
There's so many 80s horror
I know. There's, like, that's the year of horror movie.
I cannot think of a single one.
Let's see. Okay, Children of the Corn, or Christine. Yeah, Christine. The Shining was in 1980.
Yeah. Well, I don't know their vibe. That's kind of a vibe.
Yeah, no, I like that vibe. But if you're thinking about all these vibes, Evil Dead, 1981. What are they wearing? They're not wearing, and I understand it's Hollywood is different, but they're wearing like Levi's and a cami. Like, I don't know. They're not, and they're not like drinking like a crisp Coke can, like that's straight from the vending machine of the 80s.
Right. They were bottles, right?
Yeah. And also they used cars from the 80s, and I was like, oh, so everybody had new cars?
Right.
Like, no, they didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
They should have 20-year-old cars.
Yes. And how did MaxXxine get like a nice car like that?
Maybe she got a payout for her trauma or something.
But she wasn't supposed to be connected with it.
Oh, you're right.
So I thought she was like poor. How did she get this nice car?
No, she's a famous porn star.
True.
Literally all the men knew her.
That's true.
They said, MaxXxine, you're MaxXxine. That was weird.
I know. It grossed me out.
Yeah. But I don't know. I wish it was better.
Me too. I wish we could slay it, but
I think we're gonna have to
slash it.
Which is so crazy considering Pearl is one of our faves.
I know, but I mean, we gotta be honest here.
Yeah.
Slash and slay.
You're right. We're not brutal enough. We gotta slash it.
Yeah, we gotta slash it. I think this might be our first like
mainstream Slash.
mainstream movie Slash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we slayed everything else.
Pretty much.
Think about it. I can't remember.
Also, this main character villain, the main villain, confuses me so much because he's making this film, this documentary, right? Why on earth are you videoing yourself torturing and murdering
people and your daughter? And like you were going to set her on fire
and you were going to perform an exorcism, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And he also says like play with me, like saying like this is fake. Dude,
I don't think he was
saying.
I don't think he was saying it was fake. I think he was like saying like this is your time to shine. You're gonna be infamous for this. Like so, but that means he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like you're about to like serial kill her in a sense.
Set your daughter.
So that's wrong. So like, because she's gonna be like famous from this. I don't know. The villain's motivations were not clear at all, and
not clear. And I want to know where he got all that money for the PI.
Not interesting to me, and not
compelling.
Scary. Yeah.
I almost wish they would have been like, okay, the Night Stalker's after her. Like
the what?
The
oh,
Night
right.
Stalker's
That it really was the Night Stalker.
Yeah, and then none of the detectives cared or
went
want,
to the place herself.
Yeah.
She literally delivered herself.
There was no danger for her ever.
The cops followed her.
She had already and then when the cops got there, she had already almost broken out anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, no, it was ridiculous. Honestly. Ugh, so sad. I hope he tries again, I guess. I mean, I really like...
Maybe a whole different concept.
Let's get rid of... Pearl's done. Maxine's
restart.
done. Mia Goth can do something else if you really want to work with her again.
Mm-hmm.
But she's great. But...
yeah.
A Slash.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Not
I mean, I still
fault.
think you should watch it just to be like, okay,
I think it completes the series.
It completes the series. You kind of know what happens to MaxXxine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They could all kind of stand on their own, though.
Yeah.
All the movies. So,
yeah.
That's good. And they all have different vibes. They all have different.
They do.
So, yeah. Anyway. That's what I have to say. MaxXxine. More like
Max. Nope.
Max
clean me out. Because that was bad.
Max clean up on aisle. Bad. Anyway.
This is a shorter episode, but we're just getting back to the swing of things.
We just had to bash on something for a long time.
I feel like if we had liked it, we could have talked longer.
Probably.
That's okay. Probably. Well, guys, I really hope you'll join us next week as we continue slashing and slaying our way through life.
Slashing through life.
Oh, that's going to be coming out November. And you
know it's part one, right? Yeah, I'm so upset. Those trailer is literally the entire movie. Well,
yeah, but
it says everything. It gives away everything.
Well, that's fine because everyone knows the story.
No, they don't. What if somebody's never seen it?
Well, don't watch it. I didn't even really fully. I watched some of the trailer, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to.
It says I don't want to see everything.
But I've seen the show like 3 times, maybe.
And I've seen the show, but I wanted it to be also special.
Downloaded the script and I highlighted Glinda's parts and I.
You would have been such a good Glinda compared to Ariana Grande.
Act it out. No, I can't sing very high anymore. I used to.
She can't.
I used to be able to, but...
She needs to get out of here. Sorry. Unpopular opinion. Can't stand the girl.
Can't stand her. You already slash it.
I slash Ariana Grande.
It does look very pretty.
Mm-hmm. Except for her. She looks scary. There's
going to be new songs, too, I think.
I hate when they do that.
Also, might make me mad.
They're trying to make the trailer, like I said, people don't like musicals, so they didn't put any, music in it so that
True.
people don't know it's a musical.
Right, even though it's literally Wicked.
Yeah.
The musical.
You forget that we like are theater kids at heart, so
We're full on.
yeah, so
Full
like
on.
a lot of people don't know Wicked,
True.
which is crazy to
That
think
is
about.
crazy.
But
I know, because like to me, it's like
I know every word,
Wicked
but
default in my brain.
Yeah.
Lots of like Broadway shows and regular musicals, I'm like default in my brain, and someone's like, "What is that?" Like my husband, he doesn't know anything about musicals,
yeah,
so I'll like be like, "You don't know this?" I'm like, "Why would he? He's not
a theater
theater
child.
person at
Yeah,
all."
unlike us, we know everything.
We know everything, and we're smart, and we know everything, and we sing everything.
Dancing through life.
Somehow the heart does live only because that is what we can do.
Nothing matters, but knowing
nothing matters. It's just
so good. And they also didn't put Ethan Slater in the trailer at all.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. Because of that controversy.
Controversial. I guess they couldn't cut Ariana out of it.
Right, true. but too hard. Well, I mean, honestly, Bach is not a very big part.
No. No.
Listen, Nessa, Nessa, I've got something to confess. Sorry, why. Well, for an episode, we should just perform
All of it?
all of it.
Okay, it'll be 2 hours.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are ready for that.
Woohoo! Anyway, follow us on Instagram at /and/slay pod. Facebook /and/slay pod. /and/slay
Slash&Slay?
pod.
Pod?
Send us emails.
Yeah.
/and/slaypod@gmail.com.
Tell us your slash and slays and tell us your thoughts on MaxXxine. We'd
Yes.
love to know.
We would love to know. Mia Goth, if you're listening, you still look beautiful. I love your hair.
You still slay. Mia Goth slays.
MaxXxine Slash.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry about what I said.
Anyway.
You know what that's from?
No, what's that one from?
I can't believe you don't know.
What?
Ow, my back.
Ow.
Six, the musical?
Oh, yeah, no. I haven't listened to that.
Okay, well.
I know.
You need to get on
I
that.
need to. I know.
That was the Anne Boleyn song.
I know. I know. I just didn't know. I had no idea what it was about
Yeah.
until like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to listen to it.
Go
Sorry,
listen.
guys. I guess I'm not
sing
real.
that on repeat, like the whole thing.
Really?
Like when the introduction of all the wives.
We
Yeah.
love Anne Boleyn. I'm wearing my Anne Boleyn necklace right now.
B for Boleyn.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye.